The BlokeBusters podcast is a proud member of the Pod Bros Network, where you can find us as well as other excellent podcasts such as Sarcasm City, Worst Millennials, and Late Night Gamers at podbros.com. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of the BlokeBusters podcast.
Tonight's story is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction.
Who's gone off? Today we are canceling the apocalypse!
Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet.
And this is?
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Houston, we have a problem.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Now, where was I?
Welcome to episode 97 of the BlokeBusters podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Brian.
And today we will be covering the 1988/89 film Earth Girls Are Easy. And before we get into that, I'll do nuts and bolts real quick. You can follow us on Twitter, BlokeBusters, Facebook.com/BlokeBusters, we're on Instagram at BlokeBusters, you can email BlokeBusterPodcast@gmail.com, and we're at BlokeBusters.web.com, or you can go to podbros.com and look for BlokeBusters there, because it looks a little nicer.
I'm fairly confident that runs through your head as you sleep.
Yeah, you're on that side. It's like, oh, yeah, this is a little cleaner than the one we got. Anyway, so on top of myself and Brian today, we have a little treat for you. We have brought in Canadian Steve.
What's up, eh?
Right?
Oh, okay.
I have to get that off the bat so that
All right. I will try to refrain from mimicry. As much as Paul loves my English accent, I will attempt any Canadian efforts here. So, pleasure to have you, Canadian Steve.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and thank you for answering our call. It's very kind of you.
Always willing and able, us Canadians.
That is very true.
Alright, well, just diving into the nitty-gritty of this film then, directed by Julian Temple. Now, the budget and box office I couldn't definitively find, so I'm basically taking this off Wikipedia, so take that as it was.
Yeah, exactly.
A reported production budget of $10 million, and a box office of $3,916,303.
So not exactly what you would call a smashing success financially. No. The budget was cut from 14, I believe.
Yes,
as a deal to get the distribution.
Okay, I don't know about you guys with inflation and everything, but $10 million on what though?
Exactly. It certainly wasn't the computer effects.
Yeah.
The first perception I got as soon as I saw the intro and everything and the aliens right off the bat is, am I watching a Dr. Zeus film here?
Well, oh my God, there are so many analogies to go with here, but yeah. My only thing is maybe those suits each cost like $100,000 a piece or something, and that still doesn't even get you. Jim Carrey couldn't have been very expensive then. So I don't know where this budget went. Goldblum, I mean, he was an 80s star already, so he could have commanded a little higher price tag, but I have no idea where you get $10 million out of this. It feels more like $3 or $4 million.
Yeah, definitely feels more like someone's second film straight out of film school. Mm-hmm. They managed to get a couple of big names.
Did he do anything of note, Temple, after this? Because I know his first one was a dud, and that was what kind of gave Warner Brothers trepidation about picking this up.
I don't know, because I hadn't actually heard of this guy before this film.
Me neither. This is the first movie I've heard of him.
Yeah, apparently he did a movie called Bullet in '96. With
Bullet.
Yeah.
Is that with the Wayans brothers as well?
I don't know.
Possibly. I don't know. If they are, they're low on the cast list. I'm not seeing them.
I know it
something else.
Definitely wasn't a Steve McQueen vehicle, that's for damn sure.
Tupac was in it.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah. Anyway, that's who we were dealing with. But
yeah, I can't say I recognize any names here. Maybe Glastonbury. Sure. I think I might have heard of that one.
Yeah.
But
So essentially an unknown. Yeah. Even for the time.
Well, yeah. Oh well. Yeah, so this film also had, I'll just run through the whole cast real quick. So, yeah, Gina Davis is Valerie Gale, Jeff Goldblum is Mac, Jim Carrey is Whiplock, Damon Wayans is Zebo, Julie Brown is Candy Pink, because why not? Yeah, exactly. I could run through the other names here.
Well, I know we will. Please tell me we're going to get into him later, but Michael McKean is Woody.
Yes, I
Okay.
think so.
Let's save a little dessert for later.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, I know we generally have the guests kind of go first, but I do want to say this film was basically kind of came about, this review of it, as someone said, I think it was Colleen, was basically saying, "Oh, you need to do Our Girls So Easy," and it was just like, okay, let's, yeah,
that's about how hard it is to convince us to do it.
Yeah, a fan request will pretty much do it. And my entire history with this film before I hit play, was that I knew that Jeff Goldblum was in it, and he played a blue alien.
So this was Steve, Paul and I generally don't discuss the watches before we record.
No.
Just to try to keep things fresh as possible. But yeah, I'm just learning this is his first watch.
Yes.
Which makes me smile ear to ear.
It was my first watch, and I genuinely went in 100% blind. I knew nothing about this film.
Wow. Okay.
As the polite Canadian, I apologize for that.
So with that in mind, just a quick 30-second, 1 minute overall view of this movie. What did you think?
Well, first and foremost, I think about halfway through the film, my thought process was, what exactly am I still watching? Because there wasn't a huge amount of cohesion, really. It just seemed to be a whole bunch of 80s tropes and imagery and soundtracks just thrown in together. But I would say overall, it was definitely an enjoyable watch. I think.
Yes.
To not give too much away about my feelings about different things in the film. Yeah, this was definitely something that I am happy that I have watched. So
okay, fair enough. What's your history with it, Steve?
Well, I watched it when it originally came out. I was about 9 or 10. So I watched it then, and as a child, obviously, it was the greatest thing ever. But now, again, without spoiling everything that we're going to dive into, it really didn't hold up, but I could see why I liked it as a child. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I was trying to pinpoint the first time I saw this, and who knows, because I was renting so many videotapes as a kid. And this was probably one I snuck in that I knew I probably wasn't allowed to see or something, you know. But, hid it in some other kid-friendly box, because you can always do that when you're doing the videotapes. But yeah, and it also explains why Gina Davis is probably an early crush of mine. I feel like I saw this a lot in my younger years, and it was always one of those that would just be on randomly in the afternoon on USA Network or something. And it's just 4 o'clock, and you just watch half an hour of it. But yeah, this is my first time going back to it and watching it in completion in probably a couple decades at least. So yeah, along with you, Steve, I don't think it held up entirely. I did enjoy it a lot more than I thought I would this rewatch. Yeah, we'll get into some things later, but
please.
but yeah, the third, as far as the third act and stuff goes, but for the most part, it's a really fun, campy watch.
Very, very campy. That is a very good word to describe this film.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I may as well. It'll leap into a big selling point of this film as well. But the first note I wrote down was, "Oh, it's a musical."
Oh, thank you. You too. That was. You know what? I'm looking at my notes right here. Same thing. And I don't like singing in movies unless it's The Lion King. That's it.
Okay. Well, that is a high bar to hit. But yeah, I appreciate you having those standards. Yeah, I had forgotten that too. I'm like,
I know.
And I was like, because when they first start off in I think the beauty shop or whatever is like the first number.
When she has to make her.
Wait, what was the name of the beauty shop again? Oh, it's a terrific pun. You need to like look that up. Or,
I will do a quick. Curl up and die.
Curl up and die. Yes, great. But yeah, when they started, I'm like, oh, is this a one-off or is this going to keep happening? And they do define it as, I think the Wikipedia does call it like a musical / science fiction / 100 other things, but
a musical, romantic, comedy, science fiction film.
Exactly.
Yes.
The best of its genre. But yeah, I had forgotten it was a musical, and I apparently am the one of the three of us that really enjoys musicals, especially movie musicals, and. But I wouldn't really call this a music. I mean, it only has maybe 4 or 5 numbers.
Yeah,
right.
I feel like whoever put this together was a big fan of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh,
I was like, let's kind of do Rocky Horror Picture Show light.
I was getting more. Now I'm losing it. Little Shop of Horrors vibe.
Okay.
From the campiness.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like this entire movie reminded me of just like a combination of like Mystery Science Theater 3000 with the actual show of Mystery Science Theater and a movie they would actually possibly review or comment on, combined with like Little Shop of Horrors, combined with late night Cinemax movie, but like a PG-13 version of a 2 a.m. Cinemax movie.
Right, but sorry to interrupt, but is it just me, or when we watched it as a child, wasn't there more nudity in it?
Maybe that was just our wishful thinking. I don't know.
Well, I assume what it is like, as children, you don't see people in very skimpy bikinis.
Well, that are essentially see-through. Poor Gina Davis. Thank God. I hope she is happy with that. She doesn't regret doing that role too much. But
I not knowing too much about Gina Davis, I would assume she probably doesn't. Well, I'm sure she was having fun.
Yes. Well, as we learned, and I don't know if you were aware of this, Steve, she was madly in love with Mac at the time.
Yes.
And they were actually married during the production of this film.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
no,
Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. Yeah. This is their 3rd film together. The Fly, Transylvania 65000. I'm not going to go back and look that up again, but and then this one. Yeah, so obviously did not last. I think he's been married a few times. I mean, you cannot contain the sexiness that is Goldblum, but
no. He's funneling it into his. I can't remember the food now. He's got a food truck, but I don't remember what it is.
The Goldblum food
just
truck,
in Australia at the moment. Mm-hmm. But do you know who else was in mind for the role of Valerie then?
I heard a couple. I will let you share though.
All right. Yes. Well, they were considering both Madonna and Molly Ringwald.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Possibly Madonna. Maybe.
See, I could see Molly Ringwald more than Madonna.
No, she's too the girl Doris. She's not, I guess, slutty enough. You know what I mean?
Earth girls are easy enough. I
gotta
get one of those in an episode. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, there was a longer list I saw, but I can't think of the other ones. But yeah, those were the 2 big ones I think that were on there.
Yeah, and
Madonna did make a cameo when they flipped over that record and she was on the cover. So
there you go. Well, then as did Julio Iglesias.
Yes, he did. Yes, I popped when I saw that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I did when he walks in record first. I was like, is this a thing? Was this like sorry, I bought you a makeup record?
This is what we did in the 80s ball. Yeah, we would just screw people over and then bring them records, and then we were good. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And just believe us, it definitely happened. Okay.
But yeah, I would say overall the songs and also just the soundtrack for this film is equally off the walls insane and perfect 80s cheese type thing. I think it was a really cool mix of songs that definitely made it more enjoyable to watch. I think if it had just been less weird song choices, then I think it wouldn't have been as enjoyable.
Yeah.
The only exception is I'm going to jump ahead here, but I guess we'll circle back.
You're good.
Is the last song that they performed? Which one was that? I'm a Blonde. Yeah.
Because I'm a blonde. Yeah.
There was no need for that song. I want those 5 minutes of my life back, honestly.
It was added in, Steve, to pad the running time, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, it was reshoots, or not reshoot, but additional shooting there that they actually
needed that when they rolled the credits, and I would have been fine with that.
It did feel like a over the credits song.
I kind of like how if you try and look up the information about the company that agreed to distribute it, the Lauren Tills or whatever entertainment group. And it just says here, reshoots later commenced. The song "Cause I'm a Blonde" was injected into film late in production, by which time that group had filed for bankruptcy.
The De Laurentiis, who, Giada, she's, celeb chef or whatever. Yeah. But it was her grandfather's company.
So it's like, do you think that the reshoot caused them to go into bankruptcy? Because that's a horrible...
that is a hell of a footnote on your... But yeah, oh my gosh, I know like you said, we're ahead of ourselves, but the lyrics of that thing were just insane. I can't spell VW, but I have a Porsche. I don't have to think, I talk like a baby, and I never pay for drinks.
Yeah. Just because I'm a blonde, BL, whatever.
And I think I blocked it from memory, but I want to say, I think Wayans and Carey were only in a couple shots. It was mostly extras, and then the woman singing.
Yeah, I think what happens is she's singing and she goes by some people, and then she goes off and continues singing the song, and then Carey and Wayans kind of mess with the people.
So I think they showed up for 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon or something, and get us the hell out of here.
Yeah.
That's how we all felt, I think, during that one.
I feel like they would have had more material if they just let Carey and Wayans loose on the beach with some extras just doing bits around. And here you go. Make a scene.
They got to do some early Fire Marshal Bill stuff.
Okay. I will admit that song, I kind of forgotten about that song. That song is very forgettable, completely out of nowhere, and doesn't really feel like it's part of the film. But
not at all. No, you can definitely tell it was added in.
Yeah.
But the previous ones made sense. The ones where they, I guess, shave them all down. That one, okay, that makes sense because they're actually doing something. And even the dance off. Oh, that dance off is.
I will admit I fast forwarded through part of that dance off.
It does go on a little while.
I was taking notes that I knew.
I guess if you go in with it tongue in cheek and you know what it is, I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, again, it was my first watch, so I watched the entire thing, and it was just very odd. It was almost like they were trying to do a Saturday Night Fever type thing, and they were like, "No, never mind. We'll give that up and just have a dance off."
I did like the first number, that Brand New Girl number. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it seemed to me that Gina Davis's character for most of that song is kind of as if she realized, everyone else is singing and dancing. I'll go over here. I'll just get out. I'll get out of your way.
Yeah, it's am I still in the shot? Oh shit, I'm still in the shot. Let me walk a few pieces over. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so most of the music, very fitting for this type of film.
The more we're talking about this, the more I think I really liked it.
Oh my goodness!
I know what's happening, but
Well, hey, I mean, if right now we're just talking about one aspect of it.
I will say I wish, this does feel like something that you should be probably pretty high for, but I was stone cold sober.
Well, I mean, there is a line in the film that I wrote down because I was like, I couldn't believe the line was in there, and I think she's talking to Candy about the aliens, and someone said, "What did you say?" And her response is, "Oh, nothing. I'm on drugs."
Yes. It was the '80s, Paul. Everyone was on drugs. Okay, we're doing coke
it was pretty much almost verbatim just the.
Hey, you know what? Maybe that's where the 10 million went to all the
Oh
parties.
yeah, drugs for the on set. Absolutely.
All ties together.
And then Oliver Stone visited the set one day, and then they were out of drugs. So yeah, so yeah.
I feel like she's related to the character from American Psycho. Just, will you pipe down? I'm trying to do drugs.
Yes.
Well, actually, speaking of drugs, perfect segue. Okay, is it me or did Mac like the original Cosby when he took out what's her name, Valerie, and tried to get her to sleep with him? Because she kept saying no, no, no. He kept taking off his clothes. He touches her.
That scene was a little
Isn't
bit.
that like the original Cosby, like right
well, I mean, yeah, I don't want to get too much into the current news cycle, but that did give me pause for a second. I'm like, it's a little uncomfortable. It felt a little James Bondish, where he's just like,
no, right? That was kind of
yes,
no.
Yeah, and he's just and she's sitting there like, wait, I don't even know if we're going to be anatomically, well, okay, I guess we are, yep.
Do you know what it actually reminded me of?
What's that? Oh.
And so that reminded me of in Young Frankenstein, when the monster gets Gene Wilder's fiance in that cave, and he ends up basically raping her as well. But obviously she's very willing at the end of it. Like it kind of felt, kind of felt very similar to that. It seemed like you weren't quite sure where I was going with that.
No. I think I like to have heard Steve's tangent. Steve, where were you going? Save us.
Well, I was going with that. Mac was like a creep because even after with the two cops, he made them fall in love. It's like he gave them ecstasy or something and slipped them a drug, and next thing you know, they're in love. Like
he gave him the love touch. Which I wrote down on one of my notes. I said, "gay friendly?" ? Maybe. Was this ahead of its time? Like, love is love. Good for them if that's what they were going with. But so like gay positive maybe. But because it wasn't really played up too campy at that moment. They were just like, oh, there,
Now
I you in your eyes.
I do wonder because it seemed either you can argue that it only really works once, or it just heightens feelings that are already there. Because obviously, like, right at the end of the film, he does it to Gina Davis and Michael McKean, and Gina Davis ends up like not wanting to do it because she's not in love with him. So it's like is it the same as, it's not exactly rehypnol or anything like that, but it's just
exactly where you're going, because I felt the same way. I'm like, this is not too consistent here. What does he just control it the way he wants to? Can people break it when they want to? Like, what's going on? What's like the consistency?
Yeah, it's like, does it wear off after a while, or you're just
Maybe it's more like he touches you and it's as if you've just had 4 beers. So like you're gone, but you're still kind of there.
See, it's one of those elements that make me think of those really like kind of late at night movies or whatever. Just like, nope, we're gonna put him in space. He can touch him and make him fall in love with him. It's okay. That's our plot. Let's go. Take your clothes off. Yeah.
Goes in space. No rules out there.
Exactly. In space, no one can resist love touch. Yeah. I don't know where to go from here.
Even with the whole way that I guess Gina Davis's character and Jeff Goldblum's character fell in love literally came out of nowhere, other than her physically seeing him with no hair. Like there was no lead up, there was nothing. It was just, oh, you're a supermodel? Oh, I love you now.
Oh, thank you so much for bringing this up, Canadian Steve, because one of our favorite things to do is pick nits, and
I do that all the time on my show.
Yes, so these aliens are fur-covered aliens. They wear these helmets for some reason, and under these helmets, apparently, they just have gorgeous human hair.
I guess either that, or she took all the hair that she apparently shaved off, and
dyed it, glued it on, and then dyed it.
Well, And that also brings up the second question as well. Like, did she also decide to dye Zebo? Like, 'cause it's like, okay, well, white, black. It's like,
I was so worried when he came out black. I'm like, oh my god, what are they going to say? I don't remember. It's going to be awful. And luckily, she was like, it was kind of like excited, like, oh hey, he's black, you know?
Yeah, I was sad.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, what are they going to say? Yeah, I really thought that was going to be awful.
yeah, I genuinely wasn't sure where they were going to go.
Yeah, it gave me a little apprehension there. But yeah, then just the Goldblum reveal in that scene was amazing. I know we're all over the place chronologically here, but only rivaled maybe his shirtless counter scene.
Yes. Like the one note I found this is I don't know how Goldblum got so many jobs as an actor, but after seeing those two scenes, I understand it now. He could just stand there and just hire him. It doesn't matter if he's good or not.
Yes, this is 80s sex appeal to a T. Like, his ears are a little weird. His face isn't perfectly like what you would consider male attractiveness, or I don't know, but it works. I don't know. Like, I'm saying, and that Goldblum has mass sex appeal. There it is.
And this film also probably helped him as well, because there's not a huge amount of long sentences that he has to say.
Yes.
Which actually is kind of sad, because now we don't get to make fun of his speech patterns.
Oh, I know. But we did get Thor, which, yes, you do need to see Thor, so you can, because he is Goldbloomy as all hell in Thor.
Oh, okay, I can't wait then.
Yes, he is effectively Jeff Goldblum turned up on set.
Yeah, he is playing himself, essentially. Yeah.
So maybe Mac gave him the touch, and he just, got hypersensitive and all that.
I think let's go with that theory. Until you can prove us wrong, people. That's what we're going with.
And even at the beginning, so opening credits, or just before the opening credits, and you see the three aliens there, and it's like, I didn't fully get who the two aliens that were messing about were. Like, I couldn't quite see the faces through the makeup, and I didn't know that Jim Carrey and Damon Wayans were in this. And then the blue alien stands up, and it's like, well, that's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, you can throw all the blue paint on him, it's still gonna look. Yeah, it's still gonna be Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, the other thing that I wrote down right at the beginning was you can tell exactly when this film's made simply from the computers.
Yes, go ahead, Steve. I think you had something to say.
Oh no, I was just saying yes, especially that scene where she goes all crazy and throws a bowling ball down.
I still want to talk to that. Yes, let's use that as a segue to the scene, because that is my favorite number in the movie. I don't know the name of the song. I just wrote down "Ground You Walked On."
That's probably it.
But I mean, in this scene, she microwaves a football. She pours champagne on his expensive car-named fish.
Yes.
And also, apparently, in this rage that we don't see, set up two skis on her dresser. Perfectly like, oh, this is going to be so awesome when I pull this off. Like, I'm setting these skis up, I'm going to roll this bowling ball down, and then we do get a little callback to that when Ted shows up later in the movie, and they said the Commodore would stand up to anything.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
As a previous owner of a Commodore 64, yes, they don't stand up to much, but
I'm sure that was the original pitch, though, right?
Yeah, I remember there was a DOS, like, because everything you had to type into DOS on there to to run all your programs. Yep. And what's that?
I used to do DOS. I'm very familiar.
Yeah, so you have to know all your prompt sequences and all that stuff. But like, one of my favorite programs was it would just do speech. Like, you type it and it would speak it back. And it was, oh my gosh, that's like an 8-year-old just making that thing swear was like the greatest thing ever. But you'd have to type phonetically, essentially. Because otherwise it'd be like fook, fook you. I'm like, no. How do I get you to say fuck? Yeah, like. Hours of fun. So thank you, Commodore. But yeah, you didn't stand up to a bowling for sure.
Yeah, I didn't. Growing up, I didn't have a Commodore 64. I did, however, have when my parents got a Windows 95 computer. I got the computer that was before that, so I did have about a year of DOS stuff. Right. Yeah, I remember the black screen with the green writing.
Yes. I was wondering because they early on they show like the potential makeover looks on a computer, and I was like, I don't even know if that was possible on that. I don't even. Maybe that was $8 million of the budget.
Maybe a very Max Headroom feel to that screen.
How ahead of their time the writers were? That was the original Photoshop.
Yes, it really was.
You think about it.
And it was the very stereotypical. Pretty much anytime you ever see anyone doing anything on a computer from about 2005 backwards, it was very much like, okay, so here's the computer, tap, 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 and then the image just changed. And look what I did. It's like, well, you didn't do anything. It's just, you're probably just typing about 5 random keys.
I know.
And I'm fairly certain, as with all typing people, you never see them hit the space bar. It's all just one long key followed by enter.
I could go on and on about computer tropes in movies, but how are you just type anything in and it just pops up on the screen without a Google search or anything? It's just exactly what you need. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the exact same as anytime anyone on television or in film turns on a TV, within 5 seconds, the thing that they need to know is on the screen.
I mean, hey, people have the best timing, other than myself. Yeah. So I don't know where to even go from here because there's so many. I made so many notes on this, but I know we're jumping all over them. Like I said, chronologically, we're all over the place here. But it's one of those types of movies where we can do that freely.
It doesn't really matter if we're following.
Yeah. So you've seen this movie or not? If you're listening to this for some reason and have not seen it, well, I hope you're getting a good idea.
To be perfectly honest, if someone listened to this and then goes see the film, I don't think we spoiled it in any way, shape, or form.
No, not yet. I mean, I don't think it matters. I don't think spoilers matter in this film. You're not watching to wait to see what happens in this.
And plus, I kind of sort of get the idea that people, while watching it, will know what's going to happen towards the end anyways. It's the typical, stereotypical 80s movie where A happens, B happens, C happens, the end, like usual.
Yeah. Even though, spoiler here, of course, but even though her switch, like 5 minutes earlier, she is sure she is going to marry Ted and is in love with Ted. And I think I'm in love with Mac. I'm going to go away forever with leave my friends, my job, the only life I've ever known.
The only planet I've ever known.
Such is Jeff Goldblum's sexiness that you will just go off to another planet with him.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I kind of expected Candy to be like, take me with you. Right
at the end. I could have sworn she did go in the original one because that's what I was waiting for too. And I was always under the assumption, I was under, oh no, I can't even say the word. Canadian Steve is all boggled up. I always thought that she was going to end up with both. I know it's bad to say, but both Jim Carrey and Damon Wayans, and they would hook up together and have like a little threesome or something. Because that's what it kept seeming like to me, at least.
I found it interesting to watch because obviously Whiplock and Zebo are the ones that are like go crazy at the beginning.
Oh yeah, Jim Carrey's humping everything in the spaceship, and
a little too crazy to the point of annoying.
Well, so horny that they caused the spaceship to crash.
Yep. And I found it weird that Zebo doesn't really seem to get with anyone at any point. Like, he dances, and that's it. Like, he says, no, he just seems to kind of be there and just be a bit crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to get into two racial things there, but I feel like that was pretty much what that was expected of that character. I don't think writing was really too concerned with developing him.
The other point about Debo that I didn't get was that why was he trying to drink everything and none of the other two were? Like, he was literally drinking lava lamps, drinking the fish, drinking this, drinking that, and it's like, are they trying to say that he likes to like drink alcohol too?
Maybe he's an alcoholic. He's just an alien alcoholic. Yeah.
And no other characterization to them really. So
yes, we know he's good at dancing and he drinks anything in sight. Yeah.
Yeah, which kind of something I was a little disappointed with this film is that the aliens, with the exception of Jeff Goldblum, the aliens are just they're very id, and like that's it. They're just two-dimensional. Jim Carrey's the one that is apparently girl crazy and end characterization there, and then the Damon Wayans one, as you said, he drinks stuff and is possibly girl crazy. That's about it again.
And then Goldblum is the sensitive introspective type or something. He's the one that like adapts, obviously the fastest of all of them into speaking normal human sentences.
Well, that's why he's the captain.
Glad you brought that point up now, because at first they didn't understand English and they were only able to emulate what we're saying to the point where even sound effects. And then all of a sudden now he knows how to speak English and he understands the language. When did that transition?
Yeah, I know. It's like I can buy that. Okay, you say like, okay, these aliens can adapt quickly, but it happened like one scene to the next. Like one scene you're doing a TV sound effects or quotes that you heard on the TV, and then the next you're speaking in American speech patterns, pausing, using the syntax correctly, and okay, I know it's a pretty ridiculous critique to have on a 1988 campy movie, but
it's about aliens that crash land.
Aliens that are trying to have sex with Gina Davis, but there it is. Yeah, that still kind of bugged me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that we've seen Arrival, we're even more critical. It's like, no, this is how language would evolve.
Oh, is that what? Yeah, maybe they were just trying to get laid. The Arrival, yeah. I was like, can we just, I'm just stuck here with Abbott, and Abbott and I don't see eye to eye, so yeah, we're just trying to.
And how annoying would that be as well? Like, if they were as sexually frustrated as these aliens clearly are, and yet they know how it's going to end, and they're just like, okay,
we're gonna do it anyway. Maybe they had a 2-week dry spell, which is apparently, like I said, enough to make you leave your home planet. So, yeah.
And the other thing, why were they even in space? They never really explained that either, right? They were just traveling through space. Goldblum was the captain, and with his 2 crewmates, and that's it.
Yeah, we don't really get like a mission statement like a la Star Trek or anything of that nature as to what they're searching for. Like, were they just cruising? Were they out cruising around?
I guess. All they keep saying is that they're trying to get home, but they didn't seem to be going to home.
No.
At the time, like I don't know.
I don't know if they were on vacation. Because she says at one point, like, do you like your job as a spaceship pilot? He's like, yep, or whatever he said. And I'm like, so he's employed. Where are his employers? Aren't they radioing him or contacting him?
Unless they were open for a sequel, and then his employers would come to Earth or something. Who knows?
Only madness only lies ahead in trying to reason out all of this stuff.
Now, I was trying to think the oddest scene in this entire film.
Okay. Up for debate, I'm sure. But
as I was watching it, going all the way through, we got through the dance sequence in the nightclub, and I was like, okay, this whole nightclub scene was just weird. Like, it was really weird.
It was a little extraneous.
And then the dream sequence happened.
Oh my god, the dream sequence. Yes.
Out there.
And I just wrote down, forget what I said before. This dream scene is just even more insane.
My note is literally moi, the word MWH, like kissing your lips and going, like when you eat the best meal of your life. Moi. It's so beautifully mad. I wrote it reminded me a lot of if you're familiar with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, that hotel lobby scene where everyone starts, where Johnny Depp's character everyone starts turning into lizard people, and like the rug is coming up and turning into serpents and stuff. And, like, it was so unreal and insane. Like, I just loved it.
That was the side effect of the Goldblum touch. You have these crazy dreams.
Oh yeah, she was having a bad trip from the Goldblum touch.
Exactly.
And it starts out, and you just think, oh, they've gone a bit stylish with like the morning after. It's gone black and white, and then nope. Okay, this clearly is not happening. It's just everything everywhere is how I was just
is that where Robbie the Robot pops up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much every sci-fi robot is in it.
Yeah.
And then Woody is there. No, not Woody. Sorry, Ted is there. For some reason I got the name of it. Ted's there just as like in a spacesuit with
Doctor with just a helmet.
I thought he had a spacesuit on as well, but he's just wearing the helmet which he wears for about a minute, and then he just takes it off. Just 'cause, I'm done wearing the helmet, apparently.
I really want to see this, like the script. I just want to know how that read on the page.
Maybe this was like, you know how, not to be gross people out, but how they make nuggets and all that. It's all the scraps of the leftover meat. Mm-hmm. This was like all the scraps from the writer's room. They don't know what to do with it. Oh, let's just put it all in one scene. Here you go.
I think so.
Yeah.
They had access to the backlot one afternoon.
You know, more and more we talked, I think our drugs theory is accurate. I think there was a lot of drugs on this set.
Yeah, I like to think that it was only the crew that took the drugs. Like, all the actors are stone cold sober, and they're like, okay. And the director's like, more, do more.
It was just Stephen King on Maximum Overdrive. He maximum coked out. Yeah.
Everyone's dying, laughing, looking at the rushes, and then the actors are like, we'll be in our trailer.
Yeah. I have a couple other things I know. So, low-cal Pop-Tarts in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have. I was like, okay, so she puts her Pop-Tarts in the refrigerator.
Keeps it fresh.
Okay, I guess I've been storing my Pop-Tarts incorrectly, but good to know. Moving on. I was like, that, for some reason, I thought that was noteworthy, and that really bugged me. Yeah.
Well, maybe...
Not just, yeah.
I mean, trying to bring any sort of logic here. Maybe it just means that when you toast it, it doesn't come out burning hot in the center. It's actually more palatable.
Paul, you might be a damn genius. We need to test this out.
I think so.
I'm going to go buy some Pop-Tarts after this. Apple cinnamon. Cinnamon brown sugar, of course. Okay. Can we talk about Woody? Okay. I know I said we would get to this. Go ahead, Steve.
Woody.
What do you think of Woody?
When I was younger, I don't know who the actor was, but now watching, obviously, the Breaking Bad series and the spinoff, I was like, oh my God, is that him? So I had to IMDb it, and sure enough, it was. And I was like, this is like early, well, not early because it's after Cheech and Chong, but it's like, I don't even know how to describe this character. He's on something 24/7. He's your stereotypical California surfer dude who knows nothing but to surf and to cause trouble and get other people in trouble. That's it.
Yeah. Heart of gold, but still just, comes from a good place, but still gets people landed in trouble nonetheless. But yeah, I had forgotten. I messaged my friend and said, I forgot all about Michael McKean being like the just like this stoner kind of deadbeat surfer pool boy, and he is amazing. Like, he is as good as Gina Davis's performance is. I think it's really good for this film. I think Goldblum is fantastic in this. Yeah. You won't catch me saying Goldblum is bad in too much, even though he's in some bad movies. Yes. Resurgence looking at you, but I thought he was the gem in this. I thought he was fantastic as this character. And knowing this is Mr. Green from Clue and all of the Christopher Guest movies. I think he's been in some of the Christopher Guest movies. Better Call Saul, of course. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I love Michael McKean so much, and just to see him as this character, it was a little bit, easy parallels to Sean Penn as Spicoli in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, that's what was on the tip of my tongue. You're right.
So very much this veteran drama actor, but seeing him as this deadbeat stoner character, it was fantastic, and it was such a joy because, like I said, I'd forgotten he was in this at all. He stole the movie for me without a doubt.
Especially that gas station scene. Actually, I take it back. That's my favorite scene of the movie. When they go in there with the fake gun and the poor gas attendant thinks they're actually robbing them, and Jim Carrey and Wayne's think that, this guy's just being nice and giving us all the stuff. Okay, bye. Like, so naive, so oblivious to everything. Oh my God. I couldn't stop laughing at that scene.
Yeah. Well, and then you've got when Woody goes in, it's just like, someone just robbed us. And it's like, my friends are out there. It's like, okay.
And just, they have guns. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a great, my friends right. Yeah.
I forgot about that scene.
And then your friends that immediately screw you over. Yeah. Yeah. And, quote, steal your wagon, your Woody wagon.
And then probably the biggest suspension of disbelief in the entire film when they end up wedging the car in the donut. Like, how? Where did they somehow take that car? Like, was there a ramp just they decided to try and go off of?
I don't know.
I think it is. They ran out of, again, the budget because of all the drugs. And you just have to imagine that they have the power to levitate cars and put them where they want. Because they're aliens, right?
Yeah, I mean, either that or this car's related to the Bluesmobile and it's just able to do this sort of stuff just because.
Yeah, I have no idea. I just, I can't process this, so I'm just going to keep moving past.
Yeah. And I didn't fully understand when Gina Davis is saying, I need to get my pool emptied, and it has to be Woody. And I was like, it seems weird that she's insisting on this guy, and then he turns up and it's like, oh.
And, okay, so this bothered me. I'm so glad you brought this because I entirely forgot, and I didn't even make a note of this. So he shows up to empty the pool and takes out like a pool skimmer. Why do you need the pool skimmer to empty the pool? I don't. You want to make sure it's clean, but hey, I don't know. I'm not a pool boy. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass here and don't know. Pool boys the world over yelling at me right now. That's 90% of our listener base is pool boys.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they got to listen to something.
Yeah. But I'm like, okay, I guess maybe that makes sense. You don't want leaves clogging the stuff as your people, but I don't know. Like, it seemed like he was doing maintenance, not. Can't anyone just empty?
That's what I thought too.
Do you need to be a trained pool boy to empty the water?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, they had to introduce his character somehow. Are you really annoyed that they did?
I suppose. Yeah. I mean, and I'm glad they did. Like I said, he was the highlight of the film for me.
Speaking of characters, before I forget, what about the crazy old neighbor with the hearing machine?
There were two different neighbors, right? Yeah, so we had the beehive lady with the listening device.
Yep.
Yes.
And who was the other one?
I don't remember the other one because whenever I think about you had, like you said, the beehive neighbor with the listening device is also apparently a fantastic painter. Because she's painting.
We always saw the other one first, but sorry, my brain's scrambled by this movie. I can't think of the other one, but yeah, very nosy neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah, I just I don't know. This film really does kind of shove so much at you that you don't have a lot of time.
Oh, it's an assault on the senses for sure. The color saturate, like the coloring, the characters. I mean, you are bombarded, which is why I said I kind of regret being sober for this. Like, I felt like I needed a little bit of something from the set. More of a downer, I think, from the set than an upper, if that tracks. But yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I don't think you need an upper with this. It's its own upper.
No, not at all. I'm sure everyone else caught the Mel Gibson reference that didn't quite age so well.
Yeah,
I was like, not so much anymore.
Well, I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, there's always going to be something like that when you're watching a film that's 30 years old. That you're going to have someone say like, oh well, no one's quite as good as blah blah blah, and then you realize that you have no idea who they're talking about, and you've got to actually Google. Oh, back then he was a heartthrob. Got it.
There's another thing I wanted to run by you, Paul. Now, the name of the club that they had the dance off in, did you catch that?
To be honest, no.
No, okay. So it felt like a Futurama joke to me.
Okay.
It was Club Decadence. Futurama, I'd like to think would be Decahedron Dance, but probably. But that kind of made me smile for a second.
Yeah, no nightclub would actually come up with a name like that.
like they should just have, if that's your name for the club, it should also have a parenthetical. Get it? Question mark?
Yeah.
Like right on the sign as well.
If it was Futurama, it would be the number 10A dance. Like that.
You have to do a little more research, or a little more homework, a little more work into it. But yeah, the second best sign I think in movies, as opposed, I think the first being Ferris Bueller State Off Shea Keys. Do you remember? Are you familiar with that one, Canadian Steve?
I'm not. I don't know about.
Which
Ferris Bueller? Are you familiar with the movie Ferris
Yes.
Bueller? Yes. Okay. So when they eat at the fancy French restaurant.
Right.
Yeah, it's Shea Keys, which is Shakey's Pizza, which if you're not familiar, is like a kind of regional chain of like fast casual pizza, shitty pizza parlor. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was one of my favorite references growing up. Yeah, I love those visual gags. But Decadence, yeah, was pretty good. I guess in that way, in the way of this one. Yeah. I don't know where to go from here. If any other shining lights or favorite bits that we haven't touched on.
I don't have any more notes really, except like right at the end, I just wrote down. I honestly don't know what the point of this film was. Like,
I was trying to suss out themes and stuff, and you could try to get too serious with it, and I think that's a fool's errand. But it's just like I was looking like apparently Roger Ebert liked this. Leonard Maltin enjoyed the silliness. Don't overthink this one. Don't try to. I was trying to think out like too many like sex positive themes and stuff, or like male horniness and stuff like that. No, it's just a silly, campy 80s movie, and just enjoy it on that level.
I thought it was going to be a lot worse than what I remembered. I was going into some like, oh no, the male chauvinistic side is going to show so much through it, and it pops up every once in a while. But I thought it was a lot worse than it is. So at least to that credit.
Yeah, they didn't. Luckily, we didn't get too much of Ted because obviously he does represent that. Because he has that line early on, you can't expect me to be more evolved than I really am.
Well, and the bit at the end where they're going to go to Vegas and get married, and he's calling the other doctor or the nurse or something. You need to get someone else to cover my shift. I'm getting married. Well, just because I'm getting married doesn't mean we have to stop seeing each other.
Well, I mean, if you're a lying piece of shit, why would you tell her you're getting married? Like, just make up some excuse that she would be okay with. Not to give you advice here, Ted, on how to be a shitty person, but...
Well, he has the cat at the end. He's fine.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, because then he transferred his touch onto the cat, so there you go.
Well, I don't know. I think the cat was like just didn't have the touch at all, but the cat was just like, yeah, whatever.
I did have a couple more things I wanted to run by you guys. I don't know. I wanted to have your back here, Valerie, but I don't think she actually understands how law or real estate law works, because what she says. Ted doesn't live there anymore because she threw him out. Yeah. Like, I don't think that the wall is going to see things that way. If Ted's name is on that front,
exactly. That's the thing. We have no idea what their actual living status is.
Like, no, you don't live here. I threw you out. I pay the bill.
Well, there's that. Well, there's also I don't know what the common law.
And they were not married.
Well, they might not be married, but if they're living together for a set amount of time...
Oh, that's a good point. If they were common law married, perhaps she does have some legal standing. Get back to us, legal pool boys, that know a little something.
Well, one other thing as well, like she kicks him out. She said, I don't want to see you again. And then she throws his car keys at him. He gets in the car, and she then runs outside going, where are you going?
I didn't mean it. It's like, where are you going? I hate you. I never want to see you again. I'm going to microwave your football and throw a bully ball on your fucking computer. Please come back.
It's true. Yeah, she was very, I don't know, I guess naive. Even that scene where she tries to surprise him when he shows up with his assistant and she's hiding in the closet. And she pops up and so naive. Oh, you brought one of your friends. Like, if that was nowadays, that woman would have came out there with a baseball bat.
Late night home meetings. Yeah.
How naive? Oh, yeah.
Well, I think... Yeah, go ahead.
He would have got away with it. Like, if he was a better liar and he was, she's just a friend for dinner, he would have totally got away with it.
Well... Yeah, I think it's just part of that 80s and 90s thing of just in film that women just want to land a guy and that they have no worth of their own or anything, and they're lower intelligent. They seem to play on that a lot. Yeah. That they're just trying to land a guy and that I'm sorry, I was the one that was wrong and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but there's also, it seems as though she's kind of like obviously not as bad as Ted in terms of like obviously she's not going out sleeping with other guys until Matt comes along and all that, but like she seems to really just want to be with Ted more as a status thing than anything else because she's upset that he cheated on her, But aside from that, she didn't really seem to care too much about not really being with him anymore.
And why even together in the first place? Like, remember those flashbacks where she's being such a klutz and ruining everything for him? And it's like, why would you still want to stay with someone like that then if you despise her this much?
Yeah, and I guess that's supposed to be her realizing, oh, like he's always been this way or something. But it definitely seems like either she's supposed to be someone that is as superficial as Ted is, or she's someone who has an IQ in the single digits. Like, it's just someone that just doesn't get it at all.
I think so, yeah.
No, yeah, she has these moments of unbelievable stupidity that really bugged me. But, and I hate how that was written. But, I mean, I'll chalk it up to the time period, hopefully.
I mean, they were writing effectively a screwball romantic comedy.
Yeah,
so
she did. I gotta get this before we're done, but she did have my favorite line of the film. And this seriously made me laugh. When the aforementioned, when Canadian Steve, our awesome guest, brought up Goldblum's advances, perhaps unwanted, she was being rational and at one point said the phone bills would be hell. And that really tickled me. I don't know. I don't know why, but yeah, like the long distance, I don't know. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
and then we got the titular line because it is an 80s movie. We have the theme song. And then we have, I don't want you to think, I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, but I don't want you to think Earth Girls are easy.
That was pretty much it. Yeah, and it really was. It's kind of funny to see, like, the way that her character was thinking of it. It's like, he's there right now, clearly very into her, and she's into him. And she's then immediately thinking of, well, when you go back to your planet and we'll have to call each other up. And it's like, you're missing the point right now.
Oh my goodness. And what kind of ambassador is she anyways to feel that? Like, who is she? Like, wouldn't she care that, maybe something else is wrong with the planet? Oh, no, they're going to worry about that. We're easy. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. This is the one thing I don't want you to, get the misrepresent. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the kind of thing that's kind of nice, actually, about this film is that it doesn't even try and take itself remotely seriously in that respect. Like, aliens have landed. We have proof of first contact, and it's not like, these aliens will make our lives better with their technology and stuff like that. And it's not like, oh no, they come to destroy us. It is just, well, we want to go home, and if we sleep with some people, cool.
And I will paint a painting of them and not question anything.
Yeah.
And even from the aliens' perspective, from what we understand, this is the species' first time on Earth.
It seems
at the very least, at least these three.
Yeah.
And they have no knowledge of Earth. So that is the lack of their curiosity as a interstellar species.
Yep.
Is Rodney Dangerfield and Caddyshack. Well, everybody's getting laid. Okay. Yeah.
But and also try and think, like, after the film's ended and they arrive home and they're the only shaved beings on the planet.
Yeah. I don't know how violent their species is, but I'm assuming they'll be murdered on sight.
Well, not even just that. Apparently, if these three are indicative of the rest of the species, 2/3 are thinking entirely with their lower half. So when a female arrives on the planet that apparently everyone's attracted to, it's just going to be a bloodbath.
Well, you never know. It kind of worked for Smurfette in the Smurfs, right? So maybe it'll work out here.
I'm a little rusty on my Smurf knowledge, but
the only female in the entire village.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not. Yeah,
I will direct you to Donnie Darko for an appropriate response to that sentence, though. So.
Okay, all right, we will maybe dive into that off mic, but I don't know. I think I'm through all of my notes here, Paul.
I have to say, I feel about as exhausted as after I watched the film.
It is. It really, I mean, no, I want to ask you and Steve as well, but that being said, I recommend watching this film.
Oh, yeah.
100%. If you have not seen this, watch it. And if for some reason you're listening to this and have not watched it up to this point, good for you. I'm not going to judge how you do things, but give it a rewatch, even if it's been a few years.
And rewatch it after you're also high too. There you go.
Yeah, maybe if you're so inclined to smoke something, maybe smoke a little something and then watch this.
Or even just imbibing in your favorite beverage. Like,
that'll work.
Give yourself a little help.
And I would say, if you have seen it before, don't feel like you can't, like, you have to pause it to walk. Like, you can let it play. Like, you can go to the bathroom and you're not going to miss a whole lot.
And this is my last comment too. It's like, especially nowadays with today's movies where they're so long, anywhere from 2 to 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
I think this was the amount of time where I dragged a little, but that's because more of the convoluted storyline. But all in all, it didn't seem like it was that long to me. It flew pretty quick.
Yeah, it's like an hour 40 or something like that.
Yeah,
and
I think about an hour 35 of actual content, and then you got the end credits. So
the third act did drag a little bit for me.
Only because you knew where it was going to go.
Yeah, it just got kind of muddy, and it kind of lost a lot of its momentum as well. Yeah. I think in the third act, the silliness and kind of ridiculousness of this first hour 15, but
and also there were a couple of moments towards the end where they were making all of their noises and stuff, and it really felt like they were going to do one last musical number, and then they just didn't. No, we should have had the blonde number at the end. Yes, so we can decide to turn it off or not. Or, some sort of like medical themed thing when they're in the ER room when he's about to basically perform an autopsy on them. It really felt like they were going to do one final. They just kind of stopped it. So music building, let's go.
One last thing to bring up, I'm sure we're probably at time here, but because of one of the lines, because there's multiple references to other sci-fi and other films in this movie, but one that I really made me think was, she said, "Woodblock, I think I'll miss you most of all." A nod to Wizard of Oz, correct? Or wait, did I screw up the line?
Technically, she said, "I'll miss you least."
Least? Did she say least?
She said least.
Did she really? Okay,
Yes, she did.
So apologies. Okay, but still a reference there.
Yes, definitely.
Which makes me think, is this a Jacob's Ladder? Has everything from the pool scene been in her mind?
Could be.
Oh.
Very much could be.
Because why everyone's so cool with these aliens.
The characters, everyone falls into even Toto could be, I guess, the cat. And then you have all the characters, right?
So
they all fit into their...
Yep.
So the film actually ends with her drowning in her pool because she's hit her head.
Yes, she somehow fell in the... So she's sunbathing and has a mental break because she even says, "Ted, I'm not going to let you affect my mind," or something along those lines. And those were the last throws.
That would make her character's last name appropriate as well, given that it is Gale. I don't. For those of you that somehow don't know, Dorothy Gale is the name of the character from The Wizard of Oz. So, Valerie Gale, some sort of distant cousin or something.
I think we cracked it.
Yeah.
Problem solved. That's it.
That's your film.
So instead of a tornado, it's drowning in a pool.
Exactly. Slightly darker, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I could just imagine the beehive neighbor now. The painting was not a spaceship in the pool; it was the dead body floating.
Yeah, she's just
probably.
Oh my god, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
A la Deadpool in the new teaser trailer.
I do think the one neighbor was a Nazi, not her, the other one, because she held a Luger in the window. Not that all Luger owners are not, but I just she was of a certain age, and this was the 80s.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, she's a Nazi. So on that
note, thank you very much for coming on, Canadian Steve.
Yes. I hope you don't regret it too much.
Oh no.
No, even if he would, he's too nice to ever say.
Yes.
And he did.
So why don't you tell everyone where they can find you, and now you can be known as more than simply Canadians.
Sure, perfect. So when I'm not Canadian Steve on this podcast, I am the host of the podcast that's available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud. I drop an episode every week. It's me and I guess I call them my gangling fool of co-hosts because I have to wrangle them all together. Sometimes it gets out of hand, so it's for good podcasting. If you like to laugh, check it out. And that's about it. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram. I'm also known as Finga Styles. That's FINGA STYLZ. And that's about it.
All right.
That sounds good.
And is that your Twitter handle, or is it?
Yes, it's Twitter. This way. If you Google what I just spelled, you'll find me because there's no one else in the world that has that Twitter handle or known anywhere. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's even funny. I've gone back to old accounts where I thought I've never set something up, and I've set it up with that same name. And it so happens I have already set it up like 5-6 years ago. So it's holding up.
All right, good to know.
Yeah. In at least one way, it's holding up. So there you go.
Right.
All right. Well, again, thank you very much for coming on. It was a lot of fun to talk about this film with you.
Absolutely, yeah. Really enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
No, likewise here. Anytime you guys want me on, just put up the bat signal, and I guess I'll be there.
All right.
All right, sounds good.
We'll bear that in mind. All right. Well, with all that being said, then I've been Paul.
I've been Brian.
And I'm Canadian Steve.
Bye, folks.
Peace.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Hang on a minute, lads. I've got a great idea.
Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.